Hi, welcome to my first ever video blog. I'm Mike Ricksecker, author and ghostorian. Like I said in my last episode of Ghosts and Legends, which is my documentary show, this video blog is going to be a less formal, more kind of down-to-earth, just talking to you sort of presentation, really. I'm going to do this more often. The Ghosts and Legends show is a bigger production, a lot more special effects, going out to a lot of locations. I'm still going to go to locations within the video blog, but there's a lot of things that I pieced together for that, splicing in all kinds of other audio and video and things like that. Have a little bit of that here, not as much, just really going to chat with you about a number of different things. And my first topic for this video blog is shadow people. I was kind of inspired to do this by the movie Shadow People, same title, starring Dallas Roberts, who some of you may know from The Walking Dead. He played Milton in season 3, and he did a pretty good job. I really didn't even recognize him at first. In Walking Dead, he's clean shaven, has glasses on. In this, no glasses. He's got the scruffy beard thing kind of going on. Quite a bit of a different demeanor in the Shadow People. In Shadow People, he's a radio talk show host late night, gets a call from a kid who is seeing shadow people in his room, ends up in the hospital and dies. And there's a string of events of people seeing shadow people dying, and there are also there's the introduction of some scientific experiments that were going on back during the 70s that may have captured this on video, and there's a video of that on YouTube, so go ahead and seek that out if you wish. The reason why that inspired me is I've had a number of interactions with shadow people in my past as well, and just by introducing the fact that I was going to do this video blog about shadow people, there's been some interesting chatter about what shadow people may be on Facebook when I posted about that. Some people try to differentiate, well, there might be shadow people, shadow spirit, different things. And there's a lot of theories about what shadow people may be. Are they all the same sort of entity but look a little different? Or maybe they're all different but know about each other. A lot of people with a lot of different theories. And my personal take on that is, until we actually sit down with a shadow person and ask them questions about who they are, what the different forms of shadow people are and why they take different forms, we're really not going to know. We're going off of our observations and really kind of piecemealing this whole thing together. My personal observations, the first shadow person encounter that I had was as a child, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and people were going to say, oh yeah, I've heard this type of story before. Saw the figure, shadowy figure of a human on the other side of the room. It was just a form, couldn't make out any facial features or anything like that. Scared to death, I was just a little kid, here's this thing in my room. And it approached me. It came up to my bed. I tried to scream, couldn't. And the thing interacted with me. It crossed my arms across my chest like that, and then it ran down the hallway and into the linen closet. From where my bed was set up in my bedroom as a child, I was able to look and watch it go into the linen closet. Now, a lot of people like to claim a large chunk of that as sleep paralysis, where people wake up in the middle of the night, they're unable to move, unable to scream, but they're seeing shadows in their room. And a lot of scientists and doctors like to say, well, your body has, or your eyes have awoken, your consciousness has awoken, but your body hasn't. Your body's still in a sleep state. So you are undergoing what's known as sleep paralysis, but your mind is still in a dream state. So part of you is still dreaming, part of you is awake, and you're seeing basically parts of your dream. And the question I have about that is, well, then why is it always a shadow person? Whether it be, and there's different forms that people observe. One is a basic humanoid figure. Another is a hooded figure. Another is one wearing a hat like a fedora. Sometimes they have red eyes, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's an old hag sitting on your chest. Sometimes it's an animal like a small, cat, type creature or something like that. Why is it always those things? I dream about all kinds of things. Why isn't it I see a tree in my room or an airplane buzzing by my head, something like that? Why is it always a humanoid figure? Also, when it comes to sleep paralysis, in my first experience with a shadow creature, if I'm undergoing sleep paralysis, how are my arms crossing? How am I turning my head to look at the shadow person run down the hall? Doesn't sound like I'm paralyzed to me. Second experience was more of the curious sort, and I've heard people report about these, and I've seen a couple during my paranormal investigations as well, but this one was at a house I moved into in Ohio. Moved from Massachusetts to Ohio, and when we first moved in, first few months that we were there, not every time, but a lot of times when I would look out my bedroom door, it seemed like somebody or something, like a shadow, had been peering into my room and then suddenly darted away. And I ended up asking my mom about that after a few times of that happening. I was like, hey, have you seen this happening? And she reluctantly admitted, yeah, she had seen that a few times too. So I ended up calling the entity Tom, for like peeking Tom. After a few months, that activity kind of subsided and went away. So I chalk it up to, hey, maybe there was something there. I was curious as to who we were, deemed that we were okay, and went about its business. Certainly quite different than the first shadow person that I encountered. And you get a lot of different reports, from full-blown can't move at all to, shadow people just being on the other side of the room and just looking at somebody, coming up, interacting. You get the hag sitting on the chest. The quick shadows, or even the animals, which I've seen the more, smaller type shadows going across the floor, actually more like along the ground in a cemetery. I've seen those more often at cemeteries. Lots of different types of entities that are of a shadowy nature. Not really sure what they may be, and like I said, everybody has their different theories. A supernatural entity? Yes. Am I going to sit here and say I know exactly for sure what they are, or so-and-so, they have all the right answers? I'm not going to say that, because I believe until we actually sit down with one and talk to one and find out exactly who and what they are, we're really never going to know. But that's part of the fun of paranormal investigating. Along the way, maybe we will discover who and what these entities are. So this is going to wrap up my first ever video blog. I didn't have any questions this time around because really it's the first one I've ever done. But if you do have any questions for me about any sort of topic, go ahead and use the contact form at my website, MikeRicksecker.com, MikeRicksecker.com. It would be a lot easier to remember if I had a shorter last name, but hey, that's what I was born with. It's Swiss, so go figure. But go to MikeRicksecker.com, use the contact form there to go ahead and hit me up with any questions, or since I'm posting this to YouTube, go ahead and use the comment box there. You can do that and ask questions, even through Facebook. You can reach me on Facebook always. So usually I do a wrap at the end of Ghosts and Legends with a book on my hand. Obviously, I haven't done that with this show. A little bit of a different show, not going to be exactly the same as Ghosts and Legends or Paranormal Roads or Paranormal Vines or any other little shows that I've tossed in there along the way. But you're free to check out my books as well. The Ghosts and Legends of Oklahoma, Ghosts of Maryland, Deadly Airs, System of the Dead, which are my mystery novels. Until next time.